Trump just imploded after no one showed up to his sad little birthday parade. Seriously, it made a middle school band recital look packed. From ice raids to crypto cringe, we're unpacking the full meltdown around the show and the incredible resistance rising up across the country. It all kicked off in Los Angeles, where the crowds weren't there to cheer. They were there to fight back.
Records or who have open warrants, they're going to work. They're going to places like home parking lots, car washes, garment factories, places where people go to work who have been here. I've spoken to several families who've been affected by these raids. People who have been here for 20, 30 years, who have U.S. citizen children, who are in their 20s, who are in their teens, in many cases U.S. citizen grandchildren. The degree of embeddedness in the fabric of Los Angeles that this community has is the reason I think that these enforcement actions and the way they were carried out really struck a nerve, and it's why we're seeing what we're seeing today and why we're seeing what we've been seeing over the course of the last week.
You're spot on. That is what's bringing people out, because these numbers are absolutely overwhelming downtown Los Angeles right now. Let's just hope and pray that it all stays.
Millions of people flooding the streets of Los Angeles, and not for a concert or parade. No, this is raw, emotional, grassroots resistance to ICE raids tearing families apart, car washes, garment factories, homes, literally hunting down people who've lived here for decades with American kids and grandkids. The outrage isn't just justified, it's unstoppable. This isn't just a protest, it's a wake-up call with a megaphone. And just when you think it couldn't get worse for Trump, oh, Jamie Raskin just stepped in and absolutely obliterated him. Get ready for a verbal takedown of epic proportions.
And Musk now says that Trump should be impeached, and Trump says that Musk should be investigated for his tens of billions of dollars in federal contracts, and for once, they're both right. My friends, fascism will not be the end of American democracy. American democracy will be the end of fascism. We will stand up for democracy and human rights and freedom all over the world. We will stand with President Zelensky and the people of Ukraine against Putin's filthy, bloodthirsty invasion. We will stand with the people of Greenland, the people of Europe and Africa, the people of Canada and Mexico for our common right to trade with each other, to respect each other, to travel and migrate and seek asylum without fear and without terror. We are the ones fighting against terror and tyranny today. And I look at you today, Philadelphia, and I know we are winning. We are winning. No, you don't get to be a monarch or a dictator in America, and you don't get to be on the payroll of monarchs and dictators from other countries. Sorry, Donald, you don't get to keep the millions of dollars you've pocketed from Saudi Arabia, from China, from the United Arab Emirates or Qatar. We've got no kings and we've got no slaves. We've got no masters and no serfs. Those of us who aspire and attain to public office are nothing but the servants of the people. And the moment that somebody in public office begins to act like the master of the people, that is the moment to evict, eject, reject, impeach, try, convict, and start all over again.
That's the sound of democracy flexing its muscles. Coast to coast, millions poured into the streets, chanting a very polite but unmistakable nope to orange-tinted monarchy. From Philly to Phoenix, the message boomed, we don't crown kings, we vote them out. And hey, while watching everyday Americans show up in record numbers is goosebump good, watching folks not show up for Donald's utterly sad little birthday bash is just chef's kiss delightful. The venue looked like a spirit Halloween on November 1st. Echoing halls, tumbleweeds, and a lone staffer frantically shuffling chairs so the cameras couldn't catch the ghost town energy. Strap in, because the next clip captures that humiliation in glorious high definition. It was supposed to be Trump's big moment. Flags, fireworks, MAGA hats as far as the eye could see, but instead, just silence. Rows of empty chairs, no crowd barriers, no overflow zones, because, spoiler, no one came. Washington looked less like a presidential celebration and more like the sad leftovers of a canceled school field trip. And sure, the skies opened up and poured, but let's be honest, even Mother Nature wanted to wash her hands of this mess. Not even a drizzle could excuse the fact that Trump's birthday parade flopped harder than his Truth Social stock. Believe it or not, Trump's pathetic parade had a sponsor, and not just any sponsor. It was Coinbase, the crypto wallet company, because of course Trump would turn a military anniversary into a branding opportunity for crypto stuff. This was supposed to honor 250 years of American military history, and somehow it turned into a low-budget Web3 promo with Trump in the middle, likely hoping to snag some digital kickbacks. Classic. It's not just tone deaf, it's gross, but the silver lining, it absolutely backfired. No crowd, no energy, just rain and empty seats. An ego-fueled flop caught in 4K. Meanwhile, Americans across the country showed up in force to stand for something real. And speaking of real, we've got more Jamie Raskin coming up next.
So join us now to discuss is Representative Jamie Raskin of Maryland, who is the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman Raskin, thanks so much for being with us. We want to start out today by playing something that Pete Hegseth said today at a congressional hearing. Let's go with that.
Can you assure the American people of two things? You will respect any Supreme Court decision on this matter about whether the Marines are constitutional, and you will respect the district courts when they rule before the Supreme Court rules.
What I can say is we should not have local judges determining foreign policy or national security policy for the country.
So you're not willing to say you would respect those decisions?
What I'm saying is local district judges shouldn't make foreign policy for the United States.
That exchange happened on Thursday of this week. So, Congressman, when you have the Secretary of Defense saying that, yes, Marines might defy court orders, are we at a constitutional crisis?
So let's get this straight. A congressional hearing, and Pete Hegseth is out here asking if the military should just ignore court rulings, and the defense secretary can't even give a straight answer? Saying district judges shouldn't be setting foreign policy is one thing, but outright dodging the question of whether they'd follow the Constitution, that's not tough talk. That's flirting with full-on authoritarianism. This isn't a constitutional gray area. It's a glowing red flag. If Marines start picking and choosing which laws to follow based on political vibes, we're not just bending democracy, we're breaking it. But don't worry, Jamie Raskin is about to step in and absolutely torch Hegseth with facts, fire, and that signature Raskin-style roast.
Well, we clearly have too many DUI hires in the Trump administration, starting with Secretary Hegseth. But look, the Constitution says that the Constitution and federal law are supreme. We have a supreme constitution. We don't have a supreme leader. We have no dictators here. We have no kings. We have no monarchs. This is civilian government, and there's a reason that Congress is in Article 1, and all legislative power is vested in the Congress, just like all judicial power is vested in the Supreme Court and in the inferior court. So what's the job of the president? To take care that the laws are faithfully executed. So let the message go out through the Trump administration. Your job is to faithfully execute the laws that have been adopted by the people in the House, in the Senate, and signed into law by the president.
Now that's how you shut it down. Jamie Raskin just gave a mini masterclass on constitutional law with a side of shade. Too many DUI hires in Trump's camp? That's not just a burn, that's a full-blown bonfire. He reminded everyone that we don't run this country on loyalty oaths and ego trips. We run it on laws. No kings, no monarchs, no MAGA military coups. His message, if you work for the government, your job is to follow the law, not follow Trump's Twitter feed. And just when you think the fireworks are done, the next question brings a whole new twist. Stay tuned.
Congressman, you know, President Trump this week, and we played the sound, we probably don't need to play it again, but you heard and you've seen it, that the people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force, heavy force, he said later. I guess I'm just curious what this is not new rhetoric, right? You've been paying attention to Donald Trump for a very long time, but does it feel like it's ratcheted up, and that where the tensions are right now with everything we're watching, does it feel scarier?
Well, and this is a critical point, because having the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the right to petition government for redress of grievances, the right of the people to freely assemble, is the very opposite of having a king, because kings brook no dissent. They don't tolerate people's free speech. So that's why in the last several weeks we've seen some remarkable things happen. We saw a state judge arrested in Wisconsin. Our colleague, Senator Padilla, was thrown to the ground with his arms behind his back and handcuffed. My colleague, LaMonica MacGyver from New Jersey, just received a criminal indictment and faces 17 years in prison because she went to a scheduled appointment at an ICE facility and then was in that scrum of people around the mayor of Newark as they decided to manhandle him. They sent the Marines to California, and they illegally tried to federalize the National Guard in California.
This is just wrong on every level. Peaceful protest isn't some optional luxury. It's a core American right. But Trump's threats of heavy force and the arrests of judges, senators, and even citizens just trying to attend scheduled appointments. That's not law and order. That's pure authoritarian chaos dressed up in a red tie. We're not supposed to fear our government for exercising free speech. Yet, here we are. Elected officials being handcuffed like criminals while Trump dreams of ruling by force. But here's where it flips, because now Raskin points to the other side of this story: the people, the Constitution, and the fight back.
But the remarkable thing about our constitutional system is how resilient all the other parts of the government are. And I'm proud of the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, the sheriff, and the chief of police there, who said, thanks, but no thanks. We don't need your help. You're just going to make things worse. And so far, we're winning in court there. There are now 184 federal preliminary injunctions or temporary restraining orders against this reign of lawlessness across the country. And today we're going to see a magnificent manifestation of the freedom of speech and what it means to have that in our society.
Raskin nailed it. This is what real resilience looks like. While Trump's camp is busy trying to turn America into a dictatorship on demand, leaders in California stood up and said, nope, not on our watch. No Marines, no fake federal takeovers, just actual public servants doing their jobs. And the courts, they're stepping up too. Nearly 200 federal rulings have slammed the brakes on Trump's lawless circus. That's not a glitch in the system. That's the system working. Today's protests are proof. Free speech isn't dead. It's marching in the streets. But just as we celebrate that, someone's about to remind us how scary this really is.
You know, Congressman, I would pick up on something, because as you were running through the litany of public officials, elected officials who have been retaliated against by this administration, you talked about, you know, the scheduled appointment, and that made me think of all the immigrants we have seen be detained, removed, deported from hearings, appointments, to be a part of the legal process, following the rules that they were told to follow, and getting snatched up by the immigration services. And I'm going to put up this headline from military.com from yesterday. ICE arrests Louisiana mother of a 9-week-old wife of Marine at immigration hearing. And this case highlights how the Trump administration's immigration crackdown is increasingly being driven by arrests at immigration check-ins and court hearings. If people are showing up at court, if people are showing up at immigration check-ins, they are following the rules. They are following the laws as set forth by the American government.
Yeah. Well, and this is unfortunately a standard practice now. We've been seeing this happen all over the country. That was the same occasion upon which the judge in Wisconsin was arrested as well. You know, to preview what I'm going to be talking about at the No Kings rallies today, I went through the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Particulars that was leveled against King George. And one of the very early things that the colonists were complaining about was the fact that the king was interfering with naturalization and people's ability to get into the country. And so there are some striking analogies between the things that the American revolutionaries said about King George and about what's going on today, like stationing troops in people's communities over the objections of the local officials.
Imagine showing up to a court hearing, doing everything by the book, just trying to follow the rules, and boom, ICE is there like it's a sting operation. That actually happened to the wife of a US Marine with a 9-week-old baby. She followed the law and got rewarded with an arrest. That's not law and order. That's just bad reality TV. Jamie Raskin, of course, puts it all into perspective, reminding us that even the founding fathers were mad about stuff like this. Seriously, it's right there in the complaints against King George, messing with immigration, bringing in troops nobody asked for. Sound familiar? But here's the good news. The people are showing up, the courts are pushing back, and the Constitution still knows how to clap back when it counts. If you're loving this glorious blend of chaos and accountability, hit that like button, tap subscribe, and stick around. Because what Trump does next, let's just say it might finally break his spray tan.